welcome to another video, welcome to a vlog. I am having a spooky readathon with my patrons this weekend. I'm calling it Spookython because I am so original with names. Here comes Finn. But yeah, we are reading spooky books this weekend, and I thought I should make a little spooky vlog. So that's what we're doing. I say spooky vlog. It's not going to be a spooky vlog. I'm not doing anything spooky other than reading the spooky books. They're all middle grades as well. So it's a spooky middle grade weekend for me. But yeah, I'm doing it with my patrons. So if you wanted to check out my Patreon, feel free to do that. Yeah. Hey boy. He's just eaten a whole tube of lip balm, which is great. I've had a bit of a slow start to the readathon this weekend, actually. It's just gone midday for me right now, but this morning's been kind of really busy. We had the vets at 8:30 this morning just for Finn's 6-month check. Check his weight and check his balls and his teeth and all of that good stuff, and everything's all good with him. He has been given a cone of shame because he's scratched his lip so much that he's cut his lip and it's swollen and a bit scabby. So the vets have given us a cone of shame and said, like, if he starts getting irritated by it and like scrapping at it to make it worse, then he has to have the cone. So yeah, we had that this morning, and then we just ran a few errands and stuff, tried to get him a little winter coat as well, or a little winter harness at least, but the one we got's way too small, so I'm going to need to return that for a bigger size at some point as well. He's like deceptively big. But yeah, anyway, I've had a slower start than I would have wanted, but I have started my reading. I have started with Moondial by Helen Cresswell. I bought this last spooky season with all intention of reading it last spooky season, and I didn't. But I am reading it now. I'm about halfway through at the minute. This is about a young girl called Minty who's gone to stay with her Aunt Mary, and her Aunt Mary looks after or works in this house. It's like a manor house type thing that's possibly haunted, and is now owned by the National Trust, so they get tourists and stuff. But Minty's really fascinated by this house, and when she was dropped off at this house, her mum left her because her mum was like working or something, so she was left with her Aunt Mary. And then she gets a phone call that her mum has been in a terrible car accident and her mum is now in hospital. The story is kind of the goings on at the house and on the grounds and so on, and Minty's discovery of the sundial that she is just inclined to think is a moon dial. And there's this whole riddle going on about what time does a sundial read when it's hit by moonlight rather than sunlight. It's a moon dial, and there is possibly hauntings, and Minty has this sixth sense. She's always had this sixth sense. She can sense the cold pockets of air. I think that's what it says on the back. Minty is the kind of girl who notices things, pockets of cold air, cries on the wind, ghosts, and she stumbles upon the moon dial, and creepy, spooky things start happening to her. She, I won't say too much more than that because, as I say, I haven't finished it yet. I'm only about halfway, so I don't know what endgame is going to be here. But she's telling the stories of what's going on to her mum, who is in hospital at the minute, but in a coma, so her mum isn't responding, but can possibly hear her, of course. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking the atmosphere. I'm liking the vibes. There is something ominous to it. There are these like darker figures, but yeah, I'm intrigued to see what happens the more of this I read. But yeah, this is where I've started with, and you will have seen in a little bit of B-roll what my plans are for the rest of the weekend reading wise, and that is these bad boys. Initially, I thought that getting through all 5 of these books was going to be a challenge. I'm now not so sure. I don't know, because These two are graphic novels, and I reckon these are going to be quick reads. And Moondial's proving to read pretty quick, considering I haven't been reading it for very long, and I'm like halfway through already. But I'm going to be reading October by Katya Balin. I don't know if this is actually spooky, I'm not sure. It's about a girl called October, and it's very autumnal looking. I've wanted to read this in October for ages, and now I am going to do that. And on the back it says, "We live in the woods and we are wild."
What?
Finn wants to go in the garden. Bear with. There we go. He's out. Yeah, we live in the woods and we are wild. So I don't know if it's more adventure or there's definitely something mysterious about it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then, of course, we have Dark Waters by Catherine Arden. I think I want to read this one tonight, like, when it gets darker, because I know this will freak me out.
What's Modric like?
Because Catherine Arden's middle grades do. So I think this is going to freak me out. I would like to read it at night, so I will try and read this one tonight. And then we have The Dire Days of Willowweep Manor. This isn't, from my understanding, isn't spooky, perhaps more spoopy. There are ghosts, there are 3 brooding brothers, there's a stately manor, but I think our main character, like, falls into this fictional world from a book or something, or I don't know. But, like, our main character isn't from this world that she falls into, where there are then these haunted bunny-looking things and ghosts and the brooding brothers. I don't know what to expect from this. Kind of imagining perhaps something funny, but we will see. I'm looking forward to it. And then Seance Tea Party. It just seems like the perfect time to read this. Definitely ghosty. This will probably be a super quick read.
No.
Oh my god, I've got it in French. Not Seance Tea Party, because I have it in French. I can't read French. I really did want to read that. Damn. I'll pick something else out. But before I settle in and continue Moondial and do some sprints with my patrons, I am going to take Finn out for a walk. So let's go do that. And then, yeah, we will settle in for some reading and some sprinting later on. My hair is an absolute mess, but it is 6 o'clock now, and I have finished Moondial, so it has taken me 18 hours of the day to finish my first book, and it wasn't necessarily a big one, but that's absolutely fine. I've had a busy day, we know this. I went and took Finn for a walk this afternoon and had a shower, and my hair has been drying naturally, so I look an absolute mess. And I'm so incredibly blonde, I really need to dye my hair. But I finished Moondial. I really liked it. I really liked the atmosphere, I liked the characters. It felt very like fairy tale, moralistic story, but the atmosphere was great, and I like how like there were different timelines that like wove together. I don't want to say too much to like spoil anything, but the moondial that she finds, the sundial that she feels is a moondial, in just the right circumstances is some sort of way to travel through time, or a passage in time somehow where different timelines can align, and Minty ends up finding herself in a different time, and there is a risk of her being stuck in this time, or of some of the other characters being trapped in times that aren't them, and like the ultimate goal is to allow these ghosts, as they are, to be able to travel freely through moontime. But there is the ominous Raven and Vole, who are a threat to that plan. But the atmosphere I really liked. I don't know when this was written. It's a classic of some sort. Moondial was first published in 1987. So it's an older one, but I really liked the atmosphere. I liked the way it was written. This edition was republished in 2015. I don't know if it was edited at all, but it didn't read like a classic from 1987, you know, like, although 1987 wasn't that far away, you know, like, that's not that far in the past. But it didn't read old, it didn't read like you can tell times have changed since then or whatever. It still read very easily. But yeah, I really like the atmosphere, the like dark mysteriousness of it, and the imagery of this moon dial and the churchyard and the graves and everything. Oh, I really liked it. I have 25 seconds left of this sprint, but my next read is going to be The Dire Days of Willowweep Manor. This is the graphic novel one, so that I can pass some time before heading into spooky dark waters later in the night. So let's head into book number 2. I finished another book. Willowweep Manor is complete. There were indeed possessed bunnies. They were quite cute. This is kind of exactly what I expected it to be. Our main character somehow falls into a stereotype universe of a gothic novel and has to help out the 3 brooding brothers there because their universe is falling apart. It just goes into like all the rules and tropes of graphic romance? No. Gothic romance, and makes a joke out of it all. It was funny. I liked it. I had a good time. It was kind of like a palate cleanser, breath of fresh air. I liked it. There was a ghost. It wasn't necessarily spooky, but there was like a big evil, but it was more humorous than anything. But I still think it counts for a spooky read for Spooky-thon. The art style was fine, like not the prettiest, but pretty cute. The story was quick. Characters were good. It was nice. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I would probably give it a 3-star. Like, it was perfectly fine. There were a few moments where I was like chuckling out loud, like some of the panels were quite funny, and all of the characters also are very like aware of reality, and that they're very self-aware of like the tropes and stereotypes that they fall into, so there is some like self-deprecating humour in there due to that. Another one bites the dust. No, done. Another one done. Finn's having a snooze over there. And it's only 8:10. I really wanted to read Dark Waters in the night, but I think I'm just going to read it now. I've downloaded the audiobook for it because I've done all of the Small Spaces series so far as audiobooks. I say all, there's only been 2, Small Spaces and Dead Voices. But I wanted the audiobook for this as well, so I've downloaded that from Audible. I'm going to listen to that. I don't know how much water scares me. This is smaller than the other 2 books in the series. Caitlin tells me it's her least favourite. It's smaller, less happens. I think Dead Voices is the scariest one for me because the ghostly things, the apparitions, disembodied voices, etc. That is all the sort of stuff that I find scary. And this is going to be some sort of like underwater monster scary? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But this is what I'm diving into next. So, book number 3, 8:10. Not quite the middle of the night, but it'll do. So, let's try and get spooked. Update time. I'm over halfway. I thought I was about halfway, but I'm just over halfway through Dark Waters, and I'm disappointed. It's not as spooky as I wanted. Like, I'm not feeling the atmosphere anywhere near as much as I did in Small Spaces and Dead Voices. And I don't know if that's because like I'm not scared of sea monsters, and it's got that slightly more fantasy feel to it than like spooky feel because giant sea monster. but like I'm just not feeling the atmosphere as much. I'm not scared as much. I'm not feeling the tension. And I'm a little bit disappointed by that. I still like the characters, I guess. I like the fact that the perspective in this one is slightly more focused on Brian, and it seems to be that in each book it slightly changes who like the main perspective is. And we're seeing a lot less of Ollie in this one. Ollie's kind of preoccupied by other things, whereas in the last one we didn't see as much of Brian because he was preoccupied by other things. But we're getting a lot more of Brian's perspective in this book, which is nice. I do like how it like cycles through the characters, so you get to know them a little bit more, I guess. But yeah, the atmosphere is just not the same. And I guess Deserted Island Giant Sea Monster is just too far-fetched for me to like feel the suspense and the horror, whereas ghosts in a ski resort, absolutely. Scarecrows in a farm, sure. Like Mystery Island Giant Sea Monster, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it as much, which is kind of disappointing. But I am over halfway, so I'm going to finish it, and I'm going to finish it a lot sooner than I anticipated because it's only 10 past 10. It's 10 past 10 and I've nearly finished my third book. Granted, one of them was a graphic novel, but I did not see this coming, so I need to reevaluate what I'm going to read next. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm going to finish this. Let's carry on. I finished Dark Waters. Done. Finished. I feel like that ending was a little bit cheeky. This book was really short. Like, really short. Didn't take much time to read at all. And with the ending the way that it ended, I can kind of understand why now. It's almost like half a story. The way that ended was nowhere near as good as the first two, because all of the things that give you the suspense and the climax in the first two books, this book doesn't have, because when it gets to the point where those things would have happened in the first two books, this book ends. Right, so my camera battery rudely died last night, so I've left it on charge overnight, and we are back. It is Sunday, but I was telling you about Dark Waters, and how at the end, the thing that makes it, like, or the thing that made the other two books, like, reach their peak of tension and their climax, like, the thing where the end is, like, super intense, didn't happen in this book. This book is basically, like, one big setup, and then when it gets to the point where it's like, okay, here's where the tension kicks in, here's where the climax kicks in, this book just finishes. So I need to read the fourth one, and Cece, bless your soul, Jake's kicking dog toys at me. Oh, thanks. Cece, bless her soul, has sent me, stop kicking dog toys at me, has sent me Empty Smiles, which is the fourth book, so that should be coming today, and I will probably read it today. They're all going behind the sofa. Jake, stop it. Your belly's on camera. I'm just covered in dog toys. What are you doing? They're staying in, you know.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
You're not allowed to do that.
It's staying in. So yeah, kind of anticlimactic, but I reckon I'd give it a low 3-star. It's mainly set up. Like, the writing's still good, the character work's still good. Goodness, Jake! Stop finding things to kick at me! Character work is still good. Didn't feel the atmosphere so much, didn't feel the tension so much, so yeah, low 3-star for this one. I then went on to read... I'm throwing things everywhere because I'm covered in dog toys. Stop it, Jake! I then went on to read Paranorthern, and the Chaos Bunny Ahopcalypse. Obviously I was going to read tea party, seance tea party, and found out it was in French, so I couldn't do that. So I picked another graphic novel, and this is all very Halloween-y, so felt appropriate for spooky middle grades. We have a werewolf, a ghost, pumpkinhead, and a witch, and they accidentally open up a portal to the Chaos Realm, where these, like, possessed chaos bunnies come through and start causing chaos. It was cute, it was quick, it was, you know, moralistic in terms of, you know, your true power be within you, etc. I would probably give it a 3-star, palette cleanser. Similar vibes to Willow Weep Manor in that, like, it was just quick, fun, easy palette cleanser, kind of funny. And I didn't realise until later last night that they both have, like, possessed bunnies in them. Like, look at this. All of these possessed bunnies in Willow Weep, and then we've got the possessed bunnies in Paranorthern. So, yeah, bunnies. And there's Finn. He's been shredding Amazon boxes. Clearly. But anyway, yeah, that was the update from last night. Now, the plan for today. As I said, Cece has sent me Empty Smiles, so when that arrives, I will probably read that. But I did mention I was gonna read October, because it gives me Halloween-y vibes just from the name, but I have been told that it doesn't really fit this theme at all. Very good, focuses on mental health, beautiful writing, etc. But not really appropriate for these spooky middle grades, despite the fact that it's set in October. So, I'm gonna leave this one for now. But one that I do have that super creeps me out just from the cover, and I wasn't sure if I was ever actually going to read because the cover scares me, is Hide and Seeker. That cover creeps me out. This is a children's horror, though, about hide and seek, and a guy that plays hide and seek goes missing and then comes back, but he comes back not the same. So, yeah, I don't know. Ready or not, here it comes, it says at the top there. I don't know what to expect from this. The cover creeps me out, but it's children's horror, so it can't be that bad, right? So I'm going to try and do Hide and Seeker, Empty Smiles when that arrives, and then Caitlin recommended Dreadwood by Jennifer Killick, I want to say. I don't know if that's right. I don't have that, but the audiobooks are on Scribd, so I could give those a go. They're my options for today. But now Jake's put clothes on, he's getting the dog sorted, we are going to go out to the pumpkin patch and we're going to pick pumpkins. That seems like an appropriate thing for this vlog, so we're going to go do that. Hello, update time. You will have seen a little bit of B-roll from the pumpkin patch. It was pissing it down with rain. We got very wet, Finn got very muddy, we had to give him a bath, but he's a sleepy boy now. I've come home, I'm doing Patreon sprints and reading Hide and Seeker. This cover freaks me out so much. I am this far in, I'm like 130 pages-ish, I want to say. 129, I'm just about to start chapter 14. There, that's where I am. And I'm enjoying this a lot so far. It's definitely creepy. The cover, honestly, just scares me so much. But yeah, it's really creepy. So, basically, these kids are friends with this kid Z, who has been missing for a year and has come back. They're supposed to be having like a welcome home sort of get-together thing for him, but he's not quite right. Like, he hasn't been the same since he came back, and his mum's like desperately trying to do something to make him a little bit more like himself. So she hosts this little get-together with all of his friends. They end up playing a game of hide and seek, which lures the Seeker. And now the Seeker is after them, and taking them all. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it takes them. I don't know, like, how this started. I don't know how Z got out. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, these are all answers that I also won't give you, because that would be spoilers. I feel like where I'm at now is a good place to be like, this is what's happening.
No,
I'm confused. I'm tense. There are these marks. Like, once the Seeker has marked you, you are next to be taken. To where? I don't know. But, yeah, I'm feeling the tension. I think it helps reading it in the daytime. Like, I'm not that, like, spooked out by it, but I'm feeling the tension. I feel like it could get worse as well. Like, they're still trying to work out, like, what is actually happening. I feel like once they've worked out what is happening, there's probably potential for it to get a little bit spookier. I don't know. But the cover is just so freaky. But yeah, I'm having a good time. So I'm going to carry on, and I'll update you a little bit later. But so far, so good.
So in the next hour,
Update time. It's 7 PM. I have finished Hide and Seeker. Look at my sleepy dog. I love him so much. I finished Hide and Seeker. This was really good. I ended up really enjoying it. I liked the tension. I liked the climax. I liked the, like, building of everyone's fears. I thought it was really good. It had that spooky atmosphere. The tension was there. It didn't, like, scare me personally, because none of the fears were, like, my fears, and I think I must have explained it in this vlog so many times, that when a spooky book touches on the things that are my fears, it spooks me out a whole lot more. So, like, I didn't feel it as much, but I really liked the tension and the building of that, and yeah, I told you what it was about.
You find a team and
Hide and seek,
this is it.
and a seeker. But yeah, really good. I think I would give it a solid 4 stars. I'm surprised at how much I liked it, because I really didn't think it was going to be my cup of tea. It's one that's been sitting on my shelf for a little while. It was gifted to me by Gavin. I think I might have already mentioned that. And I've kind of put off reading it because I really didn't think I was going to like it. I did. I ended up enjoying it quite a bit.
I really like Smith Rowe, though, not going to lie.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. Another spooky book down. My pile is growing. That's the 5th book of the weekend. And you are sat on the pile, so I'm going to just lift you up a little bit more. There we go. And I'm now going on to book number 6. Now, I can sit up a little bit because you're a little bit taller. Right, so I obviously read Dark Waters yesterday, and Cece, bless her soul, has sent me Empty Smiles. We weren't sure if it was going to arrive today because there was some miscommunication with Amazon, but it is here. I am excited. This is the final book in the Small Spaces Quartet. I've told you all my feelings on Dark Waters about how that book was clearly just a build-up to this. Where we leave in Dark Waters is like the climax of what that story should have been, but we didn't really get it in Dark Waters because it leads to Empty Smiles. So I'm glad to be reading this like quite soon after that. I've got myself the audiobook because I've audioed all of the Small Spaces books. I'm about to dive into this. Clearly there's going to be clowns. I don't know if I'm scared of clowns, but apparently this one's really creepy. I have heard that it is the like spookiest of the 4, and Dead Voices really spooked me out, so hurrah for that. There is currently a thunderstorm. There is thunder, there is lightning.
It works.
It's dark. It's not the middle of the night, it's only 7 o'clock, but I feel like the scene is set for me to dive into this. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I don't know whose perspective this one's gonna like focus on. I mentioned when I spoke about Dark Waters, like each one of the books is kind of focused on one of the trio's perspectives a little bit more. Maybe because it's the finale, it will focus on all of them. I don't know. They're about to play one final game with the Smiling Man. What is it about like children's horror and being like these games? I suppose it's adult horror as well, actually. Lots of games in horror. Everyone just wants to play a game. But yeah, there's also a race on tonight, and me and Jake are going to watch the race, so I need to read a little bit of this before the race, and then when the race is over. So this may end up being my last book of the weekend, but I would still be okay with that, because that would still put me at 6 books for the weekend. But yeah, let's dive into this. I'm excited, I'm scared, I'm excited, I'm scared. Okay, so I've done 1 sprint worth of reading for Empty Smiles. Finn is trying to eat the camera. Here he is. I've done 1 sprint worth of reading for Empty Smiles, and I love it. This is what I wanted. This is incredible. I'm like 74 pages in, just up to chapter 7, so not far at all. But like everything I wasn't getting from Dark Waters, I'm getting from this already this early in, which is what I wanted. It was that like that bit of tension, and as I say, like the climax at the end of Dark Waters was just, it was all a build up to this and the beginning of this, and I'm only 74 pages in, and I'm already loving it. Like I'm feeling the atmosphere, feeling the spooks, having a good time. However, I have now had to pause because the F1's on and me and Jake are going to watch the race, and then I'll go back to it after the race and have to finish it then. But that should be fine. I should still finish it today, it should be alright. But just want to let you know, having a great time, and I'm not even 100 pages in, so winner. Hello, it is 10 to midnight, and I have finished Empty Smiles, so just in time for the weekend to be over, for the weekend's spooky readathon. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was everything I wanted it to be. I will say it didn't spook me out as much as Dead Voices did. I think it's because, as I've explained countless times in this video, ghosts and disembodied voices and apparitions and all of that stuff freaks me out a whole lot more than clowns and carnivals do. But if you're scared of clowns and being chased by scary murderous clowns through a carnival in the middle of the night, then this would maybe be more scary for you. But yeah, everything it needed to be. The climax of what Dark Waters was kind of leading up to be. I'm still confused by Dark Waters. I don't understand its purpose entirely, other than to lead up to the one thing that happened at the end of it. But that could have happened in such a different way. I don't understand Dark Waters as a book, but this one was fantastic. Dead Voices is definitely still my favourite. This is probably second, then Small Spaces, then Dark Waters. But yeah, and that's the series over. The quartet is done. I have finished a series. It's not even Final Book Support Group Readathon week. Look at me finishing series. Who do I think I am? But yeah, it's done. And that does mean that this weekend... Oh, nearly knocked you over. This weekend, I have read all of this. 2 days. In 2 days, I have read these 6 books. And then nearly dropped them on myself. I don't know if you guys want a recap on how I did, but I started out with Moondial. I really liked this. I liked the classic feel to it. It felt very, I want to say like fairy tale-ish, but darker, you know? It was spooky, it was really atmospheric, but it felt so like beautifully like structured, you know? It had that like classic fairy tale feel. I really liked this one a whole lot. Then we did Willow Weep Manor. Fun palette cleanser. I liked it. Then we did Dark Waters. I feel like I've spoken about this one enough. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Then we went on to Paranorthern, spoopy, Halloweeny read, palette cleanser, nice. Hide and Seeker surprised me with how much I enjoyed this. Potential for favourite of the weekend, although actually, I don't know. I liked both of these a lot. I actually also really enjoyed this one a lot. I liked all three of these. I can't pick a favourite. I don't know. But yeah, this one surprised me with how much I enjoyed it because I'd been putting it off for so long. And this is what I wanted from the finale? Jesus. From the finale of the Small Spaces Quartet. So I'm happy. I'm really happy with this week's reading. This week's reading? It's not a week, it's a weekend. And look how much I bloody read. Who do I think I am? Apparently someone who can read a lot, but there you go. There's my spooky middle grade readathon reading vlog weekend. Words. But that's what I read. And it is nearly midnight. Jake and Finn have already gone up to bed. I need to go and join them because I'm very sleepy, but I needed to wrap up Empty Smiles. I really liked it. Thanks for hanging out with me for a weekend of reading. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Let me know if you have. Chat to me down below, all that good stuff. October is very nearly over, so I don't know how much more spooky content there's going to be. I wanted to read so many more like witchy books, spooky books, and the month has just got away from me. But you know, starting a new job has kind of thrown time out of the window. But hopefully there's still time to squeeze in something else, spooky or witchy or something, before the end of the month. So fingers crossed that you see something else. But if not, I'm very happy with how much spooky content I managed to read this weekend, so high five for that. Alright, I'm gonna go to Alright, I'm gonna go to bed now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye!